Hello, Adishola. Nobody can hear you. Hello, Charlie. Are you speaking? Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please stick in the box that you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Hello, Shala, we can't hear you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening and welcome to class. So we'll just give 2 more minutes for everyone to settle in, and
No,
then we'll
I
begin.
believe, Lisa,
Yes, ma'am.
because of the issues with what they call it, with even our own factor of entry or etc. I think what should
Okay.
happen is that Charlie should drop a reminder again. Just give
Okay.
everybody till like let's just say 5:10 so that we
Okay.
can start officially. Then who's sharing the slide? Please, the person should test it now. Considering there are so many administrative mishaps today, which I don't think I'm happy about. Are you hearing me?
All right, Edie. Charlie is sharing. Please try it if it's going. Charlie.
Thank you. So give everybody till 5:10. Miriam or Charlie should continue dropping messages in the group that class is on. But they should just know this will only last for this week. From next week, we will penalize fully on poor attendance.
Good evening, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me now. This is such wow. I sincerely apologize. Well, finally, I sincerely apologize. I thought something must be wrong with my other device. Okay. I sincerely apologize, please. I've had meetings with this phone and about 3 meetings today, and I'm surprised that this has happened. So I sincerely apologize once again. Welcome to your second class cohort XX, cohort 20. It's such a privilege to be here. My name is Adeshola. I will be your moderator for this class this evening. Today, as you have seen on your group, today we'll be talking about the executive. Let me see how many of us are presently on the call. 58. I noticed that yesterday we were about 60 something. So this is a pretty good number, but we can indeed be better. So maybe you can send a message on the group chat to let everyone know that you're in class and they will be missing out if they do not join pretty soon. So we have been notified that we will start this class by 17:10. That's in about 4 minutes. So just relax and get ready. I do hope you have your writing pads. This is our political or polytracy class 101, and it's been such a privilege being a part of the Electoral College training and informing citizens. And that you're here today is not a mistake. We're here to get better. We're here to improve our knowledge and to indeed be informed citizens. So get your writing pads, get your writing materials, your notebook, your pens, and get ready to be inspired, get ready to learn, get ready to ask questions. The way the class will run, we have a facilitator who is already seated in class. I will do a brief introduction of who he is, and then from there, I will hand over the virtual lectern to him to walk us through his slides and walk us through what he has in store for us today. Another thing that I think we should take note of is as he's speaking, you may have burning questions or one or two things may jump at you based on what's he's saying or based on what you have researched or based on what you know from a political space. So what will happen is after he has spoken, then we will open the floor for questions. It's important that you take note of this because when it's time for the Q&A, I would ask you to kindly indicate by raising up your hands with the virtual emojis, and then I will call you up to speak. We try as much as possible to ensure that we are individuals who are concise. So your question should please be brief. Don't take us to Ghana and then to Ethiopia before we land back in Lagos. Be as direct as possible, be as concise. Think about the question that you want to ask and ask it within 30 seconds, maximum 45 seconds, please, so that we can have the opportunity to take as many questions as we can. Okay? All right. And then if you're shy and you don't want to speak, you can post your questions in the chat box. My team and we will look out for those questions and then we will have it presented to our facilitator. Trust we're good. If you're with me, give me a virtual thumbs up. If you're with me, give me a virtual thumbs up. Let me see that. Okay, great. So we're together. Awesome. Thank you, Chike, Aundafa, Hassan, Nipti. I see all your hands. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. So as I mentioned, 17:10, and we start. Okay. So today we're going to be looking at the executive. The executive. What exactly about the executive? But first, let me walk you through the individual that will be sharing insights on what the executive is all about. Mr. Kunle Lawal is a prominent Nigerian political figure and the executive director of the Electoral College Nigeria, where he leads the charge for political literacy, civic engagement, and democratic accountability. Sorry for that. Under his leadership at the Electoral College, it has grown into a nationally respected platform, educating thousands of Nigerians on governance, on elections, and citizens' responsibility, whilst also strengthening democracy from the grassroots up. He is a tireless advocate for informed democracy. His work at the Electoral College includes designing over 27 comprehensive political education modules. You would walk through these modules even as time goes on, so get ready. And he does this pioneering candidate debates to curb off jurisdiction promises, training over 14,000 citizens across Nigeria. His efforts are redefining how young Nigerians understand and participate in politics. Well done, sir. Mr. Kunle Lawal was a former National Publicity Secretary of COA Party, where he championed intra-party democracy and innovative membership systems. As a senatorial candidate with the Alliance for a New Nigeria, ANN, between 2017 and 2019, he developed 49 draft bills showcasing a bold vision for legislative reforms. He's the author of The Candidate, a reflective guide for aspiring leaders, and formerly led Ward Chat Nigeria, using technology to connect citizens with political processes. So I'm sure you're wondering, this individual has done so much. And that's why when he speaks, I'm always eager to listen, because the wealth of knowledge that drips from his mind is vast. Mr. Kunle Lawal's work continues to inspire a new generation of informed, active citizens, positioning him as one of the leading voices for democratic renewal in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, before I bring him up, I just want you to know that you're in for an interesting conversation tonight. So, without much ado, please let's make welcome with a virtual round of applause and emoticons. Let's welcome Mr. Kunle Lawal as he takes us on the executive this beautiful evening. Welcome, sir. Edie, can you hear me? Okay. I
Good evening,
see you,
everyone.
but I cannot
Good evening,
hear
everyone.
you
Can you
yet.
can you hear me? Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Please, could you spotlight my video, please, Charlie? Thank you. Or me, would you help me do that? Everyone, good evening.
It's already up.
This top video. You said? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, good evening, everyone. I would like to welcome the 20th cohort once again. This is your first class, and of course, it's going to be a little different from yesterday. The conversations that we're going to have are going to be strictly based on the conversations that we're having today. So we don't motions, that are legislative oriented or that are or headed towards the judiciary or etc. We would just like to take, the basic questions which are involved around this course. Like we said, you have an entire 29 modules, which of course you'll be able to go through clearly and would clearly deeply understand what different sectors of governance and different sectors of conversations post all that. So would like to welcome you all again. Attendance a little poor. I can't tell what the attendance is. I'm like, okay, I'm looking from here. 79, okay. That's all less than a third. But anyway, we move on, the executive. So I'm going to make this class a little interactive so that, we're both learning together and it's not totally one-sided. So I'm going to take two people, preferably, will be gender sensitive. So a guy and a male and a female, and we're going to what they think the executive is. There's no right or wrong answers. There's no need to be Google reading from Google or anything. We just want to test, your average understanding of what the executive is. So if two people can raise their hands, or if you want me to randomly pick people to do that, which would you? I think let's just ask for the hands, show of hands. Charlie, if someone's hand, sorry, Lisa, if someone's hand goes up, please be kind enough to unmute them, or Adishola. Thank you.
All right, Eddie. Timothy, you can go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Are you with
Good
me,
evening.
please?
Good evening,
Yeah.
Timothy. It's great to hear
Thank
from
you,
you.
everyone. Welcome back to the class. Yeah, the executive can be defined as the arm of government that formulate and implement policies. And it is the organ of government that actually implement most of the activities of the other organs of government. And that is why most times, even some individuals mistake the executive for government, because executive actually carries out a lot of responsibility when it comes to implementations of policy and everyday administration of a particular country. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Timothy, for that great definition. Do we still have one more hand up, preferably a female? The females in this class should clearly understand that we're not going to give you people special seats. Okay.
Hi, good
I'm not
evening.
giving
Can
you.
everybody hear me?
Good evening. Yes, we can hear you clearly. Who
Okay,
are we
hi.
speaking with?
My name is Marcy. The executive is one of the three arms of government. They are tasked with the responsibility of, for lack of better words, for executing the laws that already exist in line with the Constitution. They are supposed to be checked and balanced by the other two arms of government. Executive functions fall typically under the presidency, and at the state level, you have the governors who are executives, and they have the power to appoint people into ministerial positions, because ministerial positions are also part of executive functions. They are, yeah, I think that's just my basic definition of what the executive is.
Mercy, thank you very much. You went from an operational angle. Mercy, you just a little bit forgot about local government, which is, the final and the third tier of the level of the executive. The local government to exist. So, Charlie, let me have the first slide so that we can define what the executive is. So, the executive, of course, its the primary functions of the executive are to enforce laws, to maintain the law, and order in this, okay, to maintain law and order in the state, and execute governance on behalf of other arms of governance. So the executive generally, now what this generally implies is that the executive executes. The word is actually executes, which is where we get the executive from. The executive executes the jobs of the other arms of government. And what are the jobs of the other arms of government? Making law and interpreting the law. So they execute that interpretation or the laws that are made. That power is vested in the executive. Next slide. Next slide. Charlie. So if you notice, one of the key things is enforce law. And enforce law shows that it has the backing of government to do anything necessary already decided by either of the other arms of government. Charlie, I asked for the next slide. For those saying they cannot see the slides are on your group already. Charlie, can I have the next slide, please? So, like we're saying, the executive and its primary functions, of course, which of course is execute, which gets its name from, which I've said earlier. So to be part of the executive, you must really understand that your jobs and your functions are not fairly to make laws. They are also not to interpret them. So you're supposed to execute your functions under the basis in which the judiciary has interpreted and the legislative has interpreted. Charlie, please, what's going on? I've said next slide since. Lisa, what's going on? So this highlighted here now are the functions of the executive. First would be enforcement of laws. Now, enforcement of laws. I'll give an example. Let me try to give analogies so that this becomes a little bit simpler, so that everybody gets it. So the new tax laws. Everybody seems to not want to agree with it, but it was passed by the legislature. So the new tax laws, the job falls on the presidency, that's at federal level. Job falls on the state at state level, and then falls on local government at LG level to enforce the new tax laws. That's to make sure it is enacted on, meaning people, citizens are well educated about it. They're well told how these things go. They're well told how also, everything works. So they help with the enforcement of laws and also with, like as you're seeing with local government autonomy, though it was interpreted by the Supreme Court recently that local governments are autonomous and not under state governments. Orders were given from the federal government, and federal government has started paying into local government coffers. Whether they give that to governors or not, we're not going to discuss that right now. We're discussing what should be. So what we try to do in this class, this class and subsequent classes, is tell you what is going on and then take away what will also help you extrapolate what actually we have created the culture to be, but not necessarily what is. Next will be appointment making, which Mercy mentioned earlier. So appointment making is also critical and key to the executive, and this helps. They help the appointments they make help them execute the functions of the executive better. Like you don't expect a president, and I'll give you an example with the president. You don't expect the president to know much about health. He might if he's a doctor, but that also doesn't mean he knows a lot about defense. That also doesn't mean he knows a lot about engineering or works or infrastructure, etc. So he would need people to serve in these capacities. And at the state level, commissioners also are appointed for such situations. At the local government level, secretaries are appointed for such situations, for specialization, which is why they are given the power of appointment making. But remember that any appointment being made by an executive has to be ratified by the legislative directly working in parallel with it. So at the presidential level, any appointment is ratified by the National Assembly. At the state level, any appointment is ratified by the State Assembly. At the local government level, any appointment is supposed to be ratified. We barely do that at local government level, but what's supposed to be? It's supposed to be ratified by the councillors. Now, defense of the state is also vested. Now, we need to understand defense of the state, and I would like to bring up the Oyo incidents, which I think will help clarify how things are. Now, the power of discharge of forces is only vested in one executive in Nigeria, and that's vested in the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, who is the President, GCFR. So, as regards the Oyo case and the Oyo kidnappings and etc., Governor Makinde, that's as regards Oyo State, Governor Makinde can alert national forces, but cannot move them. He cannot move them to his own will or how he feels, which is the reason why there's the argument for state police. A lot of people opine that state police will help cure this, but a lot of people also believe, including myself, also believe that even though state police is being put with the usual culture which we now have of state governors who have kidnapped the legislature and the judiciary in states, giving them guns will make them a little excessive. So the argument always is we should start actually, and any country as large as Nigeria, which has more than 150 million people, has a very active community or local government police. That includes the US, India, countries our size. They all have local government police. So the argument is to institute local government police first, community policing first, so that there's a basis for protection. And then you now can have an overlap for state police. So what we're doing with policing is that, or with defense, is that we've built a roof on a house. State police now will be the windows, but there's no foundation. I wonder how security architecture will work, but let's see how it works. We'll get there. Now vested in the executive, now only at the federal level, is foreign policy making. What's Nigeria's stand on, let's say, let's go back in history. What would have been Nigeria's stand on apartheid at the time? And let's remember that in trying to set South Africa free, Nigeria spent close to about, give or take, I know it's more than $40 billion. I can't remember the exact amount. Anyway, we are collecting xenophobia for it, but no problem. But we spent about $40 billion to ensure South Africa was free. Now, that was a foreign policy decision. Nigeria also has a foreign policy decision taken by, the 1963 Parliament. At the time, we had a prime minister, and our position was non-aligned, meaning Nigeria does not follow the Eastern or the Western Bloc. And I'll explain. The Eastern Bloc is Russia, China, the favorite bad guys, North Korea, etc. The Western Bloc is the people you could consider friendly in movies that always, they are the actor in movies, Rambo or whatever. That's America, Britain, the usual guys that you guys like to see in movies. So that's a foreign policy position as regards Nigeria. Now, next will also be financial functions. Now, financial functions are vested in that execution of financial functions are vested. But here's the catch and the check, between the arms of government. Now, what happens is that the executive proposes and submits what we all call a budget. Now, a budget is, of course, a document, of intent by the government for how much they intend to spend that year. Now, what is being given to them turns out to be, what's being given to them must be ratified by the legislature. So at the federal level, the National Assembly, at the state level, state legislature, and that state assembly, then at the local government level, it will be councillors. So they also have financial functions. Now, they also grant titled honors at each level. Now, honors can be granted by state governors, honors can be granted by local government, honors can be granted by the federal government. So a few of the honors about the federal government are within the federal government are the MON, that's member of the Order of Niger, commander of the Order of Niger, COON, and a host of others. Could I have the next slide, Charlie? Charlie, could I have the next slide, please? So there's no how we can talk about the executive that will not have a conversation about governance. So now, what is governance? Because governance now is the exact action, or is, let's say, the executive is the verb. Then the adjective of what they do is governance. Now, governance is the way and manner power is exercised in management of a country's human, material, and economic resources. This is always vested in the executive at different levels. Now, the question is, we always ask, good governance, bad governance. Now, good governance, bad governance, like I always say, governance has no gender, has no tribe, it has no religion. So when you're looking for governance, you need to understand the way and manner in which power is exercised. You also need to understand the government's management of the country's human and material and economic resources. Now, what are management of sorry, let's start with the beginning. What's the way and manner power is exercised? Now I'll give an example. Do we have press freedom in Nigeria? Yes or no? Everybody would like to allude to yes. But we've seen a lot of times, crackdowns on critics on government at state level, at federal level, are being picked up, even at local government level, are being picked up. So that's the way and manner in which we crack down, which is not so. Press is free in Nigeria, but not as free as it's supposed to be. They are just let's just put they open the cage, but the house is still locked. So we don't have exactly the kind of freedom that we're explaining. Now, managing the country's human, material, and economic resources. As for human resources, let's talk about the new changes with the NYSC. Now, they didn't pick special states that were safe to now say we are zoning to only these states, and these are people that will participate. A few entrepreneurship skills have been added, but we have an insecurity problem, and this present government has not even thought that maybe two months of military training, intensive military training, while still having these entrepreneurial skills. And after those 2 months, instead of continuing NYSC, they could be drafted into the police or into the military, depending on the choices that they make. Now, that could help move things forward if that's management of human resources. Now, as per materials, we've noticed quite a lot of mining in Nigeria. A lot of Chinese people are being caught up and down. We don't know where they are. We don't know what's going on. And this situation has fully led to abuse of the materials that we have. Now, Nigeria also produces oil. It took Dangote for us to get a working refinery. So that's poor management of our material and economic resources using NNPC at the same time. That's material, crude oil, because it is odd that we have to take out crude oil, sell it out, then bring it back, refine it, and give it to a country who refines it and sells it back to us. Let me break down this analogy simpler. Let me break it down to the simplest one. It's like you are growing tomatoes in your house and you have chickens. So you sell your tomatoes and your chickens for, let's say, 20 naira each. Let's just so that's simple. So that's 40 naira. Then let's say Adishola now buys the chicken and tomatoes from me. She makes stew and makes what do you call it? She makes stew and then makes what do you call chicken stew. Sorry, she makes chicken stew. And what actually now happens is that okay, she's made chicken stew, and then guess what's happening? She's buying it. I'm buying it from her. I'm buying it at 90 naira. So you lose so that's poor management of our human and material resources. Talia, could I have next slide, please? Okay, so there are two types of executive. One is the elected, the other is the appointed. Now, the appointed can only exist because of the elected. So what happens is that the elected picks, who is of course elected into position, now decides to pick who is to help them achieve what they want in governance. Now, this seems, let me just show you how it works in Nigeria also, so that we'll just explain everything. Would someone that has access to a calculator, would the person just volunteer to, so that we could have a small interaction to see how many elected and appointed executive we have in Nigeria? Anybody, a volunteer, just raise your hand.
Mercy has risen her hand. Mercy, I've
Okay.
asked you to unmute. Mercy, are you able?
Yes, I'm able to.
Mercy, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Mercy. So we're going to have a go at finding out how many elected executive we have in Nigeria. Are you ready for that?
Yes, I am.
You have your calculator ready?
Yes,
Okay,
I do.
so let's start at the federal level. There are only two elected executive, the president and the vice president. So that's two.
Okay.
Can we put that number down? Okay. So
Okay.
we have 36 governors and 36 deputy governors. That's 72. That's 74 in total, right? So we can put
Yes.
74 down. Okay. So we have 774 local governments, right? So
Yes.
774 plus 74.
2 plus 74 plus 774. That's 850.
Okay. So that means we have 850 elected executive in Nigeria. Now, people will say our government is loud, but is large, but when you really look at it, it isn't. 850 governing a country of 200 million is average. Well, Mercy, what do you think? Mercy, you can speak freely. What do you think? It's not much,
I
is
think
it?
it's not much compared to the number of people we have in the country, which is
No,
over.
ratio. The ratio is not, it's not bad. So can we go to the appointed now?
Okay.
This is where it will get scary. How many ministers do we have presently? 48? 47? 47. Let's just use 47. I think it's 47.
Okay.
Okay. Nigeria has 1,500 ministries, departments, and agencies. Over 1,500. We just use 1,500. So we have 1,500 DGs, 1,500 secretaries, executive secretaries, 1,500, etc., and etc., and etc. Continuous. Let's not name all the names they call themselves. We will not write 1,501 for the guy that found his way into the budget, and let's just skip that part. But so we have 1,500 plus what now? 47, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, according to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, what is only allowed for a minister is 5 aides. But we all know that, now, side chick has to have position, cousins have to have
Special
position,
advisors.
in-laws have to have position, and there has to be SC of the SC of the SC, there has to be Baba of the SC, there have to be. So we're going to just approximate. And this number is going to go a little wild. So we're still at the federal level. So for the president and the vice president, let's put 50-50 aides. That's 100, right? 100 down. Now, to every parastatal, let's put 5 aides alone. So 5 multiplied by 1,500.
We should put 5 for every MDA.
Yes, that's 5 times 500.
Okay. That's 5 times
Then
1,500.
1,500, sorry. Yeah, 1,500.
So 1,500 times 5. Okay.
Yes. Then, closing it, we are going to also go with ministers who are 47 and have at least 10 aides. So 10, that's 470. Let's just put the number 470.
Okay.
That's at federal level. Do you want us to calculate it now at federal level, or should we continue expanding down the line?
We can expand if you want to.
Okay. You're getting scared already, huh? Yes. So here is where we're going to next. Now we're going to go to states. So in every state, there are approximately how many appointed commissioners? Let's just say 25, approximately. Some states have more, some states have less. 25. Now those 25, now leave the 25 alone. You just put the 25. Now for governor and deputy governor, they have at least 30 aides. Remember that when you are doing this for governor, you are going to multiply that 30 by 36. No, you're going to multiply 30 by 2 first, which is 60 for a state, then by 36.
Okay.
Number is becoming big, right? Are you sure we're not lost?
It's becoming very big, but I'm not lost, no.
Oh, okay. So let's continue. Yeah, you're a mathematician, Mercy. So now we're going to go to commissioners. At least every commissioner has 5 aides. 5 multiplied by 25 multiplied by 36.
Okay. So every commissioner 25, that's times
Yes.
5.
Yes.
Then times.
Then multiply 36.
Okay.
Okay. I know you guys are wondering what all this mathematics is for. I'm just trying to show you guys how big the country is. And then now we're going to go to 774 local government chairmen who have at least 5 aides. So 774 multiplied by 5.
774 multiplied by 5.
By 5, yes.
Okay.
Then remember, every local government chairman has at least 6 departments. So 774 multiplied by 6, which will give you the number of secretaries we have assisting them. That's like commissioners at the local government level or ministers at the local government level.
Okay, I don't know how to do that matter. So am I doing the 774 times 5? Right? Times 36, yeah, to give us
that's first. Yes, times 36 first. The
so am I
number
now
of
multiplying
secretaries.
this? Yeah. Okay.
So now you are now going to, after you've done that, you are now going to do 774 because each will have at least 2 aides. So 774 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 2.
Okay, so 774 multiplied by 5.
Then just multiplied by 10. 774 multiplied, that's 7,740.
Okay,
now,
so I should do it times 10 now, times 2.
Wait, what did you do? You did 774 multiplied by 2.
Okay. Multiplied by 2.
Yes.
Okay, I've done that.
Multiplied by 5.
Multiplied by 5.
That's 7. It's just 7 times. It's just 7,740.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Now can we put the entire number together?
From the elected officials, from the first calculation that we started?
No, just
for the state level.
Appointed. No, appointed, entire appointed.
Okay. So for the for the entire appointed at the federal level, as we calculated.
No, calculate everybody together.
Everybody from federal. Okay, just give me 2 seconds here.
I'll give you calculate everybody in the appointed put together. Everybody. Somebody's mentioning that we've forgotten the FCT. There's a reason we left the FCT. Because we've already calculated, and I'll explain for the person who mentioned the FCT. The minister of the FCT is appointed, so we've already calculated him and his PAs already into the conversation. Excuse me, the people writing attendance, that's not what you have to write. You have to write, if you want your attendance to be known, you write your full name on the conversation. And you don't even really need to, because actually we use AI to monitor our attendance. So what you should have is your Zoom name that shows your original name. All the people that have TechnoSpark, iPhone 33,
I have
whatever.
A number now.
Okay, what's the number?
It is 161,690.
Those are your, and we know they are more than that, we're minimal. So those are your approximate appointed executives. Can you give us the total of we've given us the total of the elected, right? 7,000, it's not much, right?
The elected is 850 in total.
850 in total.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to ask you the question again, Mercy. Now, is our governance too large? Yes or no? There's no right or wrong answer.
I don't think it is large. I think where the problem comes in is how the resources being managed, as it was pointed out yesterday in our introductory class. So I don't think it is large. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Next slide. So I just wanted to show you guys how many people we have averagely in government in Nigeria. And so how do you achieve functional executive? The first one will be separation of powers. Now, separation of powers is key. The powers are not separated. I always say it. And I always say that as long as the president appoints the Attorney General of Nigeria, or appoint the chairman of INEC. INEC will remain dependent, and we will not have an independent judiciary. So powers must be clearly separated, and that is the fault of the National Assembly, who invests so much power in the president. So powers are not separated, you will not have a functional executive. You also need to be able to decentralize. A lot of things are decentralized in Nigeria. Security is vested in local government. Do we adapt to it? No. Do we take such things in cognizance? Yes, they are on paper, but they do not exist clearly. Now, they should also be held to account by the legislature. Now, governors are not held to account. Local government chairmen are not held to account by councillors. And we've seen the rubber stamp brother Godswill, if I remember, who's just mandating everything that comes from the presidency. Another key thing will be the rule of law. Now, if the rule of law does not exist generally in a functional executive, it will not make any literal sense. Next, lastly, will be functional executive must know how to plan. What's Nigeria's plan in the next 10 years? Where do we want to see ourselves industrialize in the next 10 years? They promised us pencil in Buhari's government. Have we started making pencils? If anybody knows that, they can write it here. I don't think we've started, but if you know better, then maybe you could tell us. And then, what's our plan? I remember when I was growing up, there used to be Vision 2020. We used to talk so much about Vision 2020. Well, Vision 2020 is no longer happening. I have not heard anything from it. The final slide, I believe, Charlie. So, enhancing a functional executive, what will it take? First thing would be participation. Most of you think participation is going to go and vote. I keep telling you it's not going to go and vote. You must participate at the party level. You must participate in the elections. And then, most critically, you must be part of holding the government accountable. Now, accountability in budgeting and financing is another whole conversation. If we budgeted, I'll give an example. Ali Moshow has 1.8 billion in FAC allocation. AMAC has 923 million in FAC allocation per month. How is this money spent? What exactly is going on? So Nigerians talk about accountability, but I don't think we've reached that accountability in budgeting and planning. Because if you have 1.8 billion a month, why does Ali Moshow have only one primary healthcare center? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Why does Ali Moshow
Yeah, it's breaking, Edie. You repeated the question, but we didn't hear most of it. Okay, he's dropped off. Network glitch. But that's a really great question. If we have the highest FAC allocation in Ali Moshow, how is it that we have only one PHC? What's all that money used for? So let's give him some time to reconnect, get back in. I'm taking note of your questions in the group chat. Thank you. Salami, I've seen your question. How do regular citizens hold the government accountable, sir? Remember, Edie said that let's try as much as possible to keep the questions within the context of this class so that we don't have to bother answering questions that you may get answers to in the classes that you will be taking subsequently.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes. Welcome back.
Okay, so I just a second. I think so my Wi-Fi is acting a little extra friendly today, and switching between it and the mobile network quite an issue. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, then let's hope for the best. This is the Wi-Fi. So as I was saying, how do you hold them accountable? So what exactly is the plan? Nobody wants to hold them accountable at local government level. Do you know? So Nigeria spends approximately 2.13 trillion naira per month per year, on local governments. 2.13 trillion. and this money is all flushed down the toilet. I always say local government is the first handshake of democracy to the people. So if it does not exist on that molecular level, how are you going to get this done? So there are a lot of things that we need to come up with in Nigeria to start to have the real conversations on politics. Now, to have a functional executive, we should have financially unattractive offices. So it should be it should be enough for you to be able to hold your family and take care of things, but not the largest that we have. I pointed out salaries of governors are just about 750,000, I think. Local government chairman about 400, depending on the states, to 200 or something, because the allowances to scare us. So we need to have financially unattractive. And then four, freedom of speech allows for a functional executive. All of us must not scream on your mandate. All of us must not sing Peter Obi or we are obedient. All of us must not sing Kwankwaso, Kwankwasia movement. There must be other conversations. So these are the kind of things that we want to have. So back to number 5. We also need to understand, that's understanding by the electorate of elected office jurisdiction and powers. Now, if we do not understand this, then we're going to have a serious problem. Now, and that's the serious problem we have in Nigeria. Most people say, hey, government, my governor sacked all the local government chairman. He does not have the power. The president suspended the governor. The president is powerful. The president does not have the power. It's unconstitutional. So what we've done in Nigeria is that we've left what is constitutionally provided and created a culture. Culture is defined as a way of life, and then we're now practicing at that level. So, Charlie, let me have the next slide, please. So, in closing, I'll say the executive is the steering rudder of governance, and its operation signals development or degradation. Make your choice, and that's what makes you a country. So thank you, everyone. I'll move over to answering questions from now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My note is full. And I'm sure yours are too. Tunde, I've seen your hand. Very quick. Okay, so now we take questions. And I will be looking at all those that have questions. So Tunde Akinfolajimi, I see your hand. I will take your question. I will ask you to unmute. Now, remember the rules. Make it as brief and concise, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, except when we want to have a conversation and then Edie wants to have a conversation, then you can stay longer. Okay, I've asked you to unmute Tunde, and then after which I'll ask Timothy to unmute. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me. Thanks for this inspiring lecture. So the first thing I would like to ask is, do you ever think there's going to be a system whereby local governments can generate income for themselves? So I'm looking at it from the UK level, where we have income taxes which are able to service, like fire services, taking out rubbish and all of that, apart from the money that is allocated from central government.
Wait, local governments? No, I don't think. I know. Not think. Registration of births and deaths are vested in local government. The taxes that are vested in local governments are markets, levies. All markets levies are vested in local governments. Local governments, there's a toll gate, they get a share. Local governments also handle taxes that have to do with radio and television. Those taxes go to local government. So I'll give you an example. Somewhere like Etiosa, which is, Lagos State. Etiosa's park allocation is 940 something or 930 something. I can't remember the exact one. But Etiosa's IGR is 3.2 billion a month. So these exist in Nigeria. Are the monies kept and used by the local? That's a different conversation. The governors take this from this coffers, that's a different conversation. But do they generate money? Yes, a lot of money, a whole lot of money. All market levies are under jurisdictions of local governments.
Thank you. Mr. Tunde, does that answer your question? Okay, I believe it did. Thank you. Thank you. Olutunji, I will ask you to unmute right about now, and then we'll take Ambassador Akintayo after.
Thank you, Edie. Actually, I would have loved that Edie talked briefly about presidential executive, like the one where, unlike the parliament, as in to try to create some kind of dichotomy between the parliamentary executive and the presidential executive so that we can actually know the difference, especially considering the fact that the one we are practicing in Nigeria is somewhat aberrant and super expensive. But away from that, I want to ask Idi a kind
Wait,
of direct question
can
now
I
that
correct something? Can I correct something so that we don't forget? Nigeria
okay,
cannot
sir.
run in a parliamentary system because the parliamentary system is a totally different system of government. That's where you have the legislative with executive
Yes,
powers.
sir.
That's the only system
Yes,
of
sir.
government. So Nigeria does not run that. So there's
Yes,
no how
sir.
you
I know,
can
sir.
juxtapose our presidential system with that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Now, quickly, I want to ask why the immunity is not extended to the local government chairman. You know, the governor, the president, they enjoy immunity, but the same is not extended to the local government chairman, if I'm correct. Then, secondly,
Yes,
why
yes,
is it
yes.
that
Yeah.
the tenure?
Wait, can I? No, so that I don't forget. Can you take your questions one
Okay,
at a
sir.
time? I'd like to answer them as they be because I could forget. So first and
Okay,
foremost,
sir.
all over the world, local government has no immunity, and there's a reason why. They are the closest to you.
All right.
You know what exactly they have. You know when they are supposed. It's you people in, or it's we in Nigeria that decided to start calling them honorable and whatever. We get excited. There's nothing honorable about them. You can take them to court and they will go to jail. They have zero immunity, councillor and local government chairman. And I can tell you that till I said this in this class, before maybe I take you in the legislative, most of you didn't know that. They don't have any immunity. And that's the way democracy is designed, because you should be able to hold your local government accountable. See, as I've been calling figures in Amak, Alimosho, Etiosa, doesn't it surprise you? Doesn't it surprise you that there's no local government that collects less than 250 million, and there's no local government that
And yet,
generates less than 70 million, and yet you don't have water, you
imagine.
don't have roads, you don't have anything?
Mm,
It's
mm.
not possible. What do you want to say
Yes, sir.
about somewhere like Ali Moshon 1.8 billion? Ali Moshon looks like a jungle.
Imagine.
Looks like a jungle. I don't want to talk about Port Harcourt.
Mm.
Port Harcourt has the local government three oil wells, Obiakpo, whatever the name is.
Yeah, Obiakpo.
Obiakpo, based on oil derivation and whatever. Its FAC allocation is as high as 1.1 billion. Have you been to Obiakpo? Obiakpo looks like somewhere that you expect those animals in Wakanda to come out. That's how it looks.
Despite
Can continue, sir.
Okay, the final one is if they continue to claim that local government is the third level of government in Nigeria, it should be autonomous, then I wonder why the
It's not
tenure.
should. I don't like when we use the word should. Don't use the word should. Local governments are autonomous. They've always been autonomous. State governments kidnapped them. That's a different conversation. Let me make something clear. There's what is on paper in Nigeria. Then there's what we practice that is not on which is not on paper. That's it. That's an invention. And we, the people, have accepted that invention, which is not correct.
That is the problem. Yeah.
So now, wait. Can I close? So now,
yes, sir.
Do you remember the guy that was blaming everybody else and said I sounded like I was blaming the youth yesterday? Now, do you understand why I say the people are the problem? Because,
yes,
and I kept saying yesterday that a democracy is only as strong as the number of people that understand how it works. That's the truth. Sir. If it's our laws, Nigeria's laws are comfortable enough to manage us. We have more anti-corruption laws than anybody in the world. You can Google it. Yet, we are more corrupt than anybody in the world.
Thank you, sir.
You can go ahead, sir.
Yeah, like you have even answered it, but my one thing I'm wondering about is the fact that why is it that the tenure of local government is now reduced to 3 years, while others are having 4?
You are allowed your governors do that. You are allowed. You are allowed. Constitution is written there in Constitution 4 years. Can you reduce your governor to 3 years? You cannot now. So you allowed, we allowed, me, you, all of us in this class allowed it happen. Nobody should selectively come and say it's this person or it's that person or it's not that person or it's this person or it's that person.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah. I'm okay,
All right.
sir.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Timothy. Just piggybacking on the question by the first person that asked the question, so the first question by Mr. Timothy about differentiating between a parliamentary and presidential system of government. Someone was asking in the chat box about in the past we had a prime minister, wasn't that parliamentary? I think what I just wanted you to help make that clarification for them, because it may be that there are individuals here
Nigeria. So what you're saying is that he said that before we used to have a prime minister. Yes, Nigeria started with a parliamentary system of government. We moved to the presidential system of government in 1979 with Shehu Shagari. But the first republic was a parliamentary system of government, which is where we had the prime minister who was also a member of parliament. We had a ceremonial president because they just loved the word president. But anyway, to appease the three regions, they had to give everybody something. Anyway, back to what we're saying. So Nigeria runs the presidential system. Yes, we started as a parliamentary system, but now we're at this position, which is a presidential system of government.
Just to ask you directly, is it possible that we can try the parliamentary system again with the way
let me ask you a more critical question, Adishola.
Yes,
in Nigeria, we tend to answer questions with questions. So if you were saying that can we go back to the parliamentary system, I'm going to ask you a critical question.
Yes,
How
sir.
many people are able to pass laws? Now, I'll tell you the number of laws that are passed in Nigeria almost every legislative year. Nigeria passes close to about 60 to 70 bills in 4 years. That is depressing. McCain, serving in the US Senate, I think for about 20 years, passed over 1,000 bills, proposed over 5,000. A parliamentary system demands a rudimentary legislature. Now, if you're saying 65% of Nigeria's legislators don't know the constitution, haven't read it, even pass laws that in the end they get trapped in. If anybody forgets the 2022 Electoral Act, when they removed themselves as delegates and did not know it was there. That's an example. And they ran back to the president after he had assented to go back to have that conversation. So is it those ones you want? Have you seen a parliamentary system of government? Look at Sweden, look at UK. UK televises its own. These are people that know what they're talking about and know what they're arguing about. Who is going to do that for you in Nigeria, please?
Most times it's interesting to watch.
Who is going to do that in Nigeria for you? Elisha Abu or who? Please help me make it make sense.
Okay. All right. I give up. I concede, but it's not impossible. Thank you so much, Edie. It's not impossible. We are training ourselves to be informed. We can just have parliamentarians in this house and get better. But let me just move on. I see Margaret. So Ambassador Akintaya, please permit me to just call on Margaret because we've heard male voices. So let me have Margaret come up and ask a question. Is that okay? Thank you so much for being a kind gentleman. So Margaret, I've asked you to unmute. Let's hear your question. Maggie. Margaret? Okay. Okay. Ambassador, I can tell you dropped your hand because okay. Go ahead, Margaret. You've unmuted you muted yourself again.
Should be said. So how about now? Can you hear me, please?
We can hear you now.
Good evening, Edie. Good evening. My question is this. Is there a regulatory body that looks into funds being released, say for example, budget that is being released and allocated? I don't know. Are they being monitored, like the purpose in which these funds are released for? Are they being monitored if they actually do execute the purpose of these funds? The reason why I ask this, I had an experience early this year while I was at the National Assembly. Yes, while working with Access Bank, we went to close some businesses, and when we got there, we're told that we should come back. I think was it 2 weeks into February.
Wait, Margaret, how are we relating executive right now and holding people accountable and the regulatory to INEC card again? How did we get there?
Okay.
This was the same, and I'll remind you, this was around the same question you asked yesterday. If my brain hasn't grown that old, remember. So I'll answer your question because you've deviated from the topic. So I'll answer your first question. Are there regulatory bodies? Yes, there are. There are different departments within the CBN, within what they call it, the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Budgeting, that are to monitor these things. But the biggest regulatory body is the one that does not pay attention to it, and that's the people of Nigeria.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess that has cleared it. Some questions. Thank you so much, Margaret. I don't see Ambassador Akintayo. If you still want to ask your question, please let me know. Okay, you do. I have some questions in the chat box. So after Ambassador Akintayo, I will proceed with the questions in the chat box. Okay. I've asked you to unmute, Ambassador.
All right. Thank you so much, Ma. Good evening, our great ED. Thank you for that words. My question is in 3 foods. So number one
Okay,
is
so we are going to do it 1, answer 1, 2, answer 2, 3, answer 3, please. Thank you.
okay, sir. I want to ask, is there any constitutional limit or does what constitutional limit exists to prevent the executive from abusing power?
That's why you have the legislative at different levels. Constitutionally provided is the legislature at every level, being it at local government, the councillors to check, at state level, state house of assembly to check, then to check on the president and ministers and etc. You have the National Assembly, which is made up of 2 houses, which are run by a cameral legislature, the House of Rep and the Senate. Those are the regulatory powers constitutionally granted. That's why they say they do oversight. And you learn the legislative, so let's not learn it today. But at least let me clarify that.
Okay, I think that one have answered my second question. Let me go straight to the third one, sir.
Okay.
All right, the third one is in democracy that we practice today, should our executive be judged more by their campaign promises that they are able to fulfill or by the measurable improvement in the life of the people, that is the citizen qualities of life?
I think that's not an or question. That's an and question. It's not an or. So they should be judged by their manifestos. They also should be judged by the measurable standard of living that the people have. So remember that the first statement, even when you're swearing in to become president, is to protect every individual. And every president has failed since 2012, presently. I'm not saying 1999 to 2017 failed, but I think they got a C. But since then, it's been P7 at good luck. And since Buhari, it has been F9.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ambassador. I totally loved your questions. Thank you. Heartfelt and relatable. So some questions in the chat box. Some have to do with, I'll try as much as possible. Gift, I see your hand, but I had already mentioned that I would take questions in the chat box. So let's keep it within that frame. There was a question by Mercy. Well, it had to do with what is going on in our current space, having to do with how a government agency is formed, has a CBN account, yet it's fake, when it seems like it went through the executive and proper legislative processes, and that this so-called agency has an allocated budget. So the question, the direct question, which I think we can just have a yes or no answer, is: do you think, based on what we've seen in the space or in the polity, do you think that this is an executive or legislative failure? Who is to blame, or the buck stops at which table exactly? That's the first question. So you can go ahead, Edie, to take it, your thoughts.
That's quite a hard answer. That's quite a hard answer to give, because it's a dual. It's a government. It's like a continuum. You can't say the executive fails and the legislative passes. No, it doesn't work like that. If the government fails, the legislative, the judiciary, and the executive are failing at the same time. One cannot individually fail. And I'll explain this to you. Now, let's look at, let's say, the government of Buhari. I will tell you, preceding 2015 to 2019, the eighth legislature in Nigeria, the most successful legislature in Nigerian history. Who can tell me the senator that passed the most bills in Nigeria? Even he does not know. Even he does not know, because he doesn't brag about it. If he knew it was important, he would have bragging about it, because that's quite a big mouth. Is anybody very here to guess who it was? No, you're not allowed to traditional. Wow.
Said,
You are spot on. I was thinking somebody was going to say Ben Murray Bruce. Yeah, Dino Melai is the best legislator Nigeria has had, which is so shocking. But it's so shocking, but he is. And I think it's 10 bills. Yes. And remember that under the Saraki Senate, we saw a lot of oversight on the government as regards changing the head of DSS. A lot of things. It was really a war, and people thought it was bad. No, that's how democracy is supposed to be. Let me give you an example. Just imagine Donald Trump didn't have the Senate he does right now. I'm not saying he has quite a good legislature, which is why Donald Trump has not gone off the hook.
Yeah.
And we all know Donald, the two T's that are causing problem in the world, Tinubu and Trump. So you have quite the issue. So you can't say legislative failed and executive passed. They fail at the same time. They pass at the same time. If you have a poor executive, no matter how good the legislative is trying to cover it up, you can see the legislative in America and the judiciary doing a lot of work. Recently, they just stopped the president from stopping citizenship births in America, which was with the judiciary threw it out. So though Trump is doing things and they're counteracting, now this is counterproductive for America, because that time used for that legislative argument could have been used to develop the the American people, instead of having another argument. So in the end, even though the judiciary protected that particular right for immigrants to have children in America who are birthed and called Americans, they have dragged back and lost legislative time over something that they could have been doing to improve the future of Americans.
Brilliant. Thank you. So I'm going to read this next question by Nupiti Abraham. I'm taking them as I'm seeing them. He said, how does our government keep on borrowing and borrowing, even after generating so much money through taxes and petroleum? Yet we do not hear maybe they're being paid. That's even if they're being paid. But yet the World Bank and other countries keep lending to us without us paying back the ones we owe earlier. Still, nothing is being done in the country. So what can we do as citizens to stop the government not to sell us back to slavery through these debts?
I like the way that question must come from, not fully understanding the way governance work. So here's the conversation. If you like, what they call it, elect Peter Obi. If you like, elect Kwankwaso. If you like, elect Sheyi Makinde. If you like, elect any one of them. Here's the conversation that is going to happen. And this is what's going to go down. And it's very simple. the power to check, and I'll repeat this again for Optim's time, to check the executive on any of his borrowing, on any of his misdemeanors, is vested in the legislative. If you people are doing top to bottom approach, and you go and elect Joshua Adari that stole money and has become senator in what they call it in Plateau State. This is an example, and also. So or you go and elect Ibori as senator, or Okowa that drank the whole Delta State money. You push, well done. How is he going to check the executive? So the citizens too, you people mortgage your responsibilities. You only think of president. Nobody cares if they say, and I'll give an example. They say Aisha Yusufu is running for Senate. No offense, but running for Senate to do what? To do what? No say it is yapping women. Some other people who are activists or whatever are running for some kind of positions. Are they credible enough? You're just changing the face. The truth is, they both don't know what they're going to go and do there. That's the problem.
Okay.
So if you cannot say that how do we hold them accountable? You were to hold them accountable by voting your legislator correctly. That's how you were to hold them accountable. If you failed with that, then I'm sorry, you failed with everything else. Because let's look at it. People in the State House of Assembly, let's look at our great friend, Desmond the Great. Desmond was there for whatever. What did Desmond pass? What was Desmond doing? It was cool. Oh, he's young. Let's give it to him. He's young. Young, fire all of you there. I repeat this. Good governance and understanding of office has nothing to do with age, has nothing to do with gender, has nothing to do with tribe and religion. You need to understand this. When somebody comes to you and says, I'm running for House of Rep, honorable, that's what you guys do. Oga, ask him, which laws do you want to change? How do you want to change oversights? How do you want to do this? What laws are you planning to pass? What bills are you planning to pass? Those are the questions you have to ask. But you people will get there and be asking for street lights. Some will be asking for AC on the road. Some will be asking for funny things. So now that we're inside this quagmire, now that all of us are inside now, as it be, some of us are trying to. So I live in Lagos and Abuja. I'm trying to escape Lagos because Lagos is attempting to drown me on the island. I want to go back to Abuja and go and chill, please, where it's sunny and there's drainage. And people are saying, I'm tired of Lagos. Only that, man, I had one amala on the mainland today. It was bad. Man, I'll never eat amala on the island again. That was just to just joke and veer off a little bit. But that's what I'm saying. So basically, you keep voting the way you're voting, you're going to end up with the exact same results. So take your time to pay attention. Who is this guy? Okay, he's running for councillor. Ask him. Councillors have a speaker now. Yes, we appoint a speaker. Okay, where do councillors make laws in Nigeria? Zero. I had the conversation with somebody in Lagos State House of Assembly. It's quite a hot guy. I'll just say he's one of the guys on island. He's a bad guy. I was sat down on a panel and he was talking nonsense. And I asked him, so what bills have you put forward? He said, I was the one that fought for Fela Day. Are you serious? Are you goddamn joking? 16 years. Fela Day.
Let's ask the question.
If not that I've rid myself of and the people northerners here will know what I'm saying. Not that I've rid myself of my Yantori ways. You would have received something that day. I was proudly saying it and they were laughing. Say my constituents can call me. Okay, good. They can call you. But when they call you, what happens?
Okay.
We reduce governance in Nigeria. I want to close with this statement. Reduce governance in Nigeria to my State House of Assembly man came for my daughter's wedding. So you people, that's good governance. Nigeria, people have problems. Anyway, over to you.
All right. Edie, a couple of more questions. I think this one, some can easily be said with the one-liner so that we can try as much as possible to finish in due time. I still see Gift's hand up. Gift, you'll be the last person I would call. So please exercise some patience. I just want to ensure that we run through this. So question, does the governor and presidents, do the governors and the president's immunity prevent them from accountability? Well, I doubt that. No, it doesn't. Edie, have I answered the question? Should I move
Yes, because we've explained this accountability thing that is
Yeah.
vested in the legislature, and we are still explaining and still explaining. It's the same question you guys are asking. So, for you, let me. Who has heard the story of the 10 blind men and the elephants in India? You know, the blind men were all holding the elephants at different places, and someone said the elephant is like the guy was holding the trunk and said the elephant is like a snake. Somebody else was holding the torso and was saying that the elephant is like a wall. All of them are correct. What exactly is the elephant? So you can't continue asking me the same question in different angles. I'm seeing the elephant. It's the same thing you're asking me.
Yeah. Okay. So this next question was quite specific. It said, if LGs are autonomous, why do governors appoint LG chairman at times, like in Edo some years back? And the follow-up question to that was, I feel we don't allow the governors do that. Rather, they impose that on us. If we don't want to allow, what can we do? I'm speaking in regards to the LGA chairman's tenure being reduced to 3 years.
Like I said, you have allowed it. Your governor will come and campaign. Governor will touch your hand now. Or whoever asks this question, if governor make you SSA to the governor on media now, you'll be saying a different thing. You see, I've always said this thing. Nigerians only criticize governance when they are not having a share of the national cake. We all know what's wrong. A governor cannot appoint. Yes, in situations where there has not been an election and they want to do an election and tenure has reached and maybe state can't afford the election, there should be a short tenure for CTC, but not a long tenure. This has been done, this has been corrupted, but I think the Buhari government, in preparation for LG autonomy, ensured that states conducted. If you notice, states have been rushing to conduct LG elections because what they've done to them is that they've said they will cease their funding till they have elected people in. That's all the executive can do. So the executive is even kind of limited with dealing with these matters as the executive at federal level. If we do not take a stand, we do not take a stand. So the government has done its own part, let's be honest, with LG autonomy. Have we done our own part? No, we have not. When you still see your LG chairman, Honorable K, Honorable Adeshola, Alpha, waiting day, I'll just give 20K for Origin Bitters. Or if it's not now, just give some small Okada, buy like 6 Okada, all of you stand up and take picture with it, 2,000 of you. Well, that's the situation. And for the people in the suburbs, don't act like you two are not part of it because I'm subbing people in rural areas. Let me join you people too. If I say I want to do campaign poster now, you put here, somebody here will print it for me. At maybe campaign poster is supposed to be 100K for 100. You say, it is running for Senate. Now 400K. So we are all stealing from the system, all of us. You are catering, you are a caterer. You two caterers are not, they should not exclude themselves. Somebody say, let's do campaign meeting. That's when Coke will be 800 naira in your place or 1-2. And all of a sudden, one meet will be 500 naira because it's a politician doing it. So when you collect that money, don't think they will not collect it from another place. It's a circle. So please, all of us are guilty of it. Thank you. And then the youth that will be shouting, give me power, give me power, give me power. What are people waiting for? It's not to do media aid for one of the media this thing for one of the presidential this thing. I'm collecting 150K per month to write nonsense on Facebook and Twitter. You have subdued your own power now. Don't come and blame somebody else for what the results are.
Okay. So someone said, I need clarity on what the speaker said, that no LG generates less than 70 million naira monthly. Is this assertion applicable to those states struggling to generate revenues like in Ekiti, Ondo, Jigawa, Gombe, Oshu and all? Yidi, can you hear me? This person just wants to know whether this assertion is not just limited to local government areas in Lagos State, but applicable.
So why would I? So because I'm presently in Lagos, you think that every conversation I've made is about Lagos? Come on, guys, wake up. I do not function locally. So yes, okay. No local government generates less than 70 million a month. I told you FAC allocations are more than 250 million a month. 70 million is putting it small. I gave you Etiosa at 3.2 billion. AMAC at about 1.6, 1.7 billion a month. It's IGR. So add that to his FAC allocation. We're talking 4 billion. Nothing, I don't need to tell you, nothing is being done.
All right. So the final set of questions, I think someone was asking that based on the mathematics we did earlier with Mercy, that after hearing this approximated number of appointed executives, do you think that that's much, or is it appropriate? Or are we safe to say that the number is too much and it's part of what is costing us so much money to run our governance system? What do you think? Because we estimated it, but we estimated at the base, at the limit, meaning it could have been more. So she's asking, do you think these numbers that we have estimated is appropriate given the large size of our population? Or
I think it's appropriate if it's exactly that, but I know it's way more than that. Governors have up to 900 aides. I just didn't. I was very minimal. So what I gave you was the minimal standard, but it's far more than that. If it were the minimal standard, yes. If it's the minimal standard and they are functioning at optimum capacity, I think we'll be able to get the benefits of it. But if it's not functioning, if you go and, like I said, you go and get your side chick, you go and get your whatever. Yes, Tariko, you're right. Numbers are way far more than that. I was very, very cautious. And we've brought it down to about that level. So let's if that's what it is, what I gave out, then I think it will be fine if they're performing at optimum level. But when you have aides right now that, are totally oblivious of the jobs they are to do or the portfolios they hold, then you have a serious problem with what's going on.
Okay, so the last set of questions, and I think you have even answered these questions. How can the citizen track and hold our executives accountable? Is it a right for every citizen to be able to get hold of the annual budget so as to hold our executives accountable? So these are
Wait, stop. You are asking me where Nigeria's budget is. Hey, there's a problem in Nigeria. You see that Google on your phone, it has use. Now let's define it. It has use. Stop Googling what did Regina wear to the club today. Stop Googling when last did Davido and Chioma go for fine dining. Stop Googling is Ned Wokolo angry or is somebody happy. Stop Googling all those nonsense that you Google. They are totally irresponsible to you. You want to know which celebrity on Facebook is fighting another celebrity. You have engaged yourself in all the gender wars available to be fought. You know which of Portable's wife or who he was sleeping with is fighting with him or not fighting with him. You know how much Obi Kuban has spent on Friday in the club. The constitution is available online. It has an application, whether you use an Android or an iPhone. The budget is available. This statistics on FAC allocation is available. They are common information. Kunle is not a what they call a reservoir of knowledge. Okay, maybe I am, but I have to be a little arrogant about this. But here's the conversation. It's common information. It's so the thing about education or political literacy, it's not what you hear Sowore saying or what you hear OBS Fusili saying, no punches allowed, or what you hear. Learn to know what the thing is saying for yourself. It's the same way we abuse religion and we do all these things. It is the same problem that we have. And the problem is simple. Uncle, auntie, read the Bible or read the Quran for yourself. The Constitution is your holy book as a citizen. Holy book as a citizen constitution. It is an app. You can download it. It's not that complicated. It's written in English. I will tell you, it is easier than reading the books of Game of Thrones that all of you have read. It's easier than reading Harry Potter that all of you have read. Because me, I don't get all these Hogwarts and whatever, and the people that are flying at night, I'm flying the day, I'm flying under the radar, I'm flying above the radar. I don't understand Harry Potter. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm local or I'm too old.
Yeah, that is great. Okay, let me just say that.
I don't understand it. But if you can know Harry Potter, if you know Regina and Ned Wokolo are fighting, then you have no reason to open your mouth on this place and tell me why you do not, or you are asking me if the budget is available. Well, who hit the budget? I don't understand. So everything is open to you in Nigeria, but you don't want to see it. And you can't blame me for that.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Edie. Someone said you have dragged us today. You're dragging us. It's all right. It's okay. Then, okay, I think I see this final question. It says, so what can we do? Follow up still to this issue of budgets, annual budgets, blah, blah, blah. What can we do as when the federal, state, and local government fail to present their annual audited financial statement? What can Edie, you're laughing. Gift, I'm going to ask you to unmute so that after Edie makes his comment on that.
Now, as regards audited statements and audited accounts, Nigeria is used to releasing audited accounts of 3 years, 4 years back ago, and you find out that they say so money was missing, but you have to wait 4 years to even check what was audited and what wasn't. And even though they've stolen $700 million from NNPC, that consulting company that is always consulting will come and tell you that from their accounts, no money was missing. And they'll carry the case to court. They'll say no money was missing in the NNPC. And that's the end of the conversation. It happened with that NNPC guy that stole that they found dollars in his house, up to 1 point something million in his house. And he was accused for almost ₦1 billion theft. And the consultants came and said that did the auditing for NNPC and said no money was missing. Oga bounced out of the court himself. At that time, and his daughter was my good friend. I could just marry her at that time. I don't get sense. I like poverty.
Okay. So at this point, I have no words. But thank you so much, Edie. Gift, I don't see your hand anymore. So I guess maybe Edie has probably spoken to your question. And at this point, I think we can call it a day. We've had a good time. We have engaged. We have laughed. We have received bullets. And I really do hope that we're leaving this place more informed, knowing what to do better, knowing how to engage the system. Edie always says something that you cannot engage a system that you really do not understand. And that's why we are here at the Electoral College, to ensure that we are armed with knowledge. And with that knowledge, we can do better and demand better. Okay, I would like to hand over to Jessica now because my battery is almost out, so that she can. Tariko Bafiao, I'm seeing your hand. Do you have a question? If someone can help make Jessica a co-host so that we can just take this final hand. Okay, Gift, I see your hand. So that Jessica can go ahead and 3 more hands. Okay, Jessica, over to you. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Your moderator for now.
Thank you, Adishola.
Thank you, sir. Jessica, go ahead, please. Okay, I'm not sure if she can still hear me.
Lisa, please, can you take this over?
Adeshola, I can hear you.
Lisa, please. Okay. I can hear you now, Jessica.
Okay. Just receive co-host function. All right. I guess we're to unmute. Have Tariko Bafao. You can go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Can we all hear me?
Yes, Tariko, can hear you clearly.
Yes. Okay. So it's not a question, but more of a contribution on where the executive stands. I might be wrong and I might be right. Due to my interactions with the executive, I would say that this electoral college that we are in, I hope that we are taking notes and we're going to implement what we are learning from all of us. Because as I said in the comment section, today we're out here, tomorrow we can be in there. So it's about each and every one of us holding ourselves accountable. You first of all hold yourself accountable before you hold anybody else accountable. That's my belief. The executive, whether we like it or not, they're the implementing section of our government. And you find that most times than not, these governors go in and end up, twisting everybody to follow the rules and regulations that they want to set in place, forgetting that we do not ask questions. We do not hold a person accountable. I had a conversation recently with one of the governors, and I said, how can all your commissioners have to wait for you to take decisions on what will cost 5 naira? You have to give an oversight, like give a budget. Within this budget, this is what you're doing and this is what you're achieving. Let every commissioner under a governor be accountable for a certain thing. It's just like, you having an appraisal thing. Let the commissioners come up with issues, come up with things that they can achieve while they are in office. And then you now hold them accountable, because you can't do the work all on your own. But because we as citizens do not rise and ask these questions and hold these people accountable, we keep turning around in circles, and we put the same people in the same positions every day. And then when we now come, we're asking ourselves, what do we do? No, we put you there for a reason. The money you're spending is money that we are circulating in our economy. We work hard for our money. If it's going to you, you should be able to tell us why we're here. So I hope that every one of us here is taking, learning, and is ready to implement what we're learning. That is just what I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tariko. That was an amazing point of view. That's what the Electoral College is about. Thank you for that. And Gifts, you can unmute, Gift.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me? Can you hear me
Yes, we
clearly?
can hear you. Go on, make it brief.
I want to ask, across other professions or industries, to say, before you get into such other industries, maybe engineering, medical industry, and all of that, there are regulatory process, there are regulations, there are process you have to undergo. I want to ask, are there no regulatory bodies for the political industry? Because most of them, most people were elected into the parliament as governors or local government chairman.
Hey, gift. I beg you people. Nigeria does not have a parliament. We have a national assembly. Parliament is in a
Okay, sir.
parliamentary system of government. I'm begging you people, please, please, because your senators also say it is because some of them schooled in Yankee and they are being jammed and their brain is not yet reset. But we are not in a parliamentary system of government. There's no need calling us a parliament. The parliament has executive powers. They don't have, their own constitutional constituency projects seem to be executive powers. But since they are not constitutional, they are not a parliament.
Okay, sir. So I want to ask, I don't know regulatory body because that was 2 months ago.
There's INEC now. Everywhere there's INEC. INEC is a regulatory body. Have you seen the Electoral Act before? Gift, wait, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you ever seen the Electoral Act? Have you read it?
No, sir.
So I don't know how I'm going to describe this to you, but it's going to be hard. So for you to engage, you need to understand to a particular level. Though politics will engage you whether you engage or not. So if you haven't read the Electoral Act, how will you know that there's a limit to campaign financing for, say, president? Nobody's to spend more than 10 billion. Governor, nobody's to spend more than 1 billion. Do you know that? Do you know the limits? The campaign limits? Do you even know that?
Yes.
You know the campaign
limits?
I
know about the campaigns.
But do you know
Yes,
the campaign
for
limits?
spending.
No, you said you know about. Do you know the campaign? Oh, what's the campaign limit for running for local government chairman?
It's about
it's not about. It's an exact number.
10 million. Okay.
It's not 10 million, it's 50 million, okay? You see the problem, Abi?
Okay.
So when you don't know, how do you hold them accountable? That's the point I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to bully you, but when you don't know, how do you hold them accountable? You've not read the Electoral Act. So how do you, I said this earlier yesterday. I said a country's laws are only as strong as the number of people that know them. Like now, you should not kill in Nigeria, right? You should not kill in Nigeria. Everybody knows that law. If you kill everybody, shout, hey, I kill somebody, everybody will gather. That's the way it's supposed to be. But when you do not even know the campaign, how do you want to hold them accountable is the question I'm asking. I thought so. Jessica, next question.
Thank you, Idi. Umar Ibrahim, you can go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me, please? Good evening.
Hello, Umar. Yes, we can hear you. Go on.
Good evening, Idi, and good evening, everyone. My own is just a recommendation and an appreciation to the Electoral College and the management team. I have not much question to ask regarding the executive arms of the government that we are running in Nigeria. But what I'm going to say is thank you very much, Electoral College, and thank you very much, ED and DDED and the rest of your members team. Seriously, I learned a lot of things through this Electoral College, starting from the one of me being a cohort member of this Electoral College. I tried the first time without graduating. The second time I was able to graduate. And I learned a lot of things in Electoral College, and I invited a lot of citizens or my people from Bauchi State across the 20 local government to key in this massive knowledge that is being given free, which is not supposed to be. So thank you very much for what you're doing, and we are appreciating it. And I wish and I hope there's a day that ED will be one of our executive leader in Nigeria. So thank you very much, and we do appreciate. And with this Electoral College, I was able to use my NGO to seek for a grant to hold a local government accountable for the local government autonomy. I was able to secure the grant now. We are preparing for the disbursement for me to go across the 20 local government in Bauchi State to engage stakeholders. But before being in Electoral College classes, I even don't know or anything regarding the executive as the local government stuff. So, but I'm now enlightened, and I'm even taking a bold step in terms of holding the local government accountable for their local government autonomy, despite the governors hijacking some of the aspects. So, thank you very much, Edie, and thank you all for your teams. May God bless you more and more. And I appreciate all of our people to be here, and thank you very much for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And I wish us a successful cohort. Thank you, everyone. Good evening.
Thank you very much. I think there's a part you forgot to add. Since you say you want to see me as an executive leader, this one that you now have grants. Please remember us in your. I said this one that you now have grants and you now have dollars. Please, we'll use the part of that money to buy my campaign form. They are really expensive this time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
They have closed.
He said they have closed. Oh, now that we say you should buy it, they've closed.
They've closed.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Umar. That's the last. Okay, we have a new face, Isiaka. Isiaka, you can unmute and ask a question. Please make it brief. Thank you.
Yeah.
Isiaka,
hello. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. I am a first-time participant, and I'm highly happy. I was actually referred by a friend, and I missed the first lecture which took place yesterday, and today is the first day I'm attending, and I am actually more informed, more enlightened, and particularly I feel more empowered. And I so much believe if the general masses are more enlightened, this way we have a better societies. Thank you, Electoral College, for this amazing opportunity. And finally, I want to ask, in the slides sent to the platform, there are kind of a group that was slated. I don't know. I missed class yesterday. If groups has been slated,
I don't know. I would like to belong to one for proactive participation in the activities of the course. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank,
much.
thank you very
you.
much. Thank you. And no groups have been put out yet. The groups will come out in a bit. I'll leave the deputy executive director to maybe explain that. Lisa, are you here to explain that? I'd like to thank you all for the time we've spent together today. We'll still meet about approximately 5 more times before the end of your course, and I'll be teaching in some other courses. So I look forward to the time I'm going to spend with you. I look forward to the times you're going to debate, you're going to run for elective offices within the Electoral College virtually. I look forward to all that conversation. There's a lot packed for you ahead, and I look forward to discharging those duties to the best of my knowledge.
Okay, thank you so much, Edie. Thank you for an amazing class as always. And before I hand over to the DED for the clarification of the groups, please, if your name is still the model of your phone, endeavor to change it before the next class for the attendance purpose, because the name on your Zoom is the name that will be on your certificate. So I'm sure you don't want your phone model on your certificate. So let's do that, please. And now over to the DED. DED, are you around?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Edie.
All right, thank you.
That was a very insightful class, as always. Okay, so for the groups, the list for the groups should be out later this evening. So be on the lookout for that, so that by tomorrow, everyone should locate their names and join their respective parties, because as from Monday, group assignments will start being dropped. So please put an eye out to expect the party list and make sure that you join only the party where you were shared into. And for those who may have not filled the pre-cohort survey form, please endeavor to also do that. I think those are the announcements for today. Your classes continue tomorrow evening by 5 p.m. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.